Hello and welcome back to SpriteGuard Plays HyperRogue. Today we have a brand new day, a brand new adventure. We're starting over from scratch. Let's see what we can accomplish. And we're going to start out by just trying to play really fast and cleanly and get through this beginning part. I was recently talking with someone on Reddit, kind of talking about this game. It's one of my favorite games to recommend to people because it's my favorite game, and actually it wasn't even in the gaming suggestions thread. It was in a discussion about, basically about forever games, which I have kind of talked more about on my live channel. This idea of having a game that you just keep playing and never really get tired of, and HyperRogue is the best forever game I have found. It's the game that I have played the most hours, though they don't all show up on Steam. And one of the reasons that I was talking about for that is that there are so many different ways to play, and how you can take it really slowly and carefully if you want to, go for high scores, or just try to accomplish some of the very difficult challenges. For instance, I think Hyperstones would be incredibly challenging at any speed. I've not been able to do Hyperstones in many updates, and that's something that I still hold out as something that I would like to do, but I have not been able to do it, and part of that is because I insist on talking the whole time I'm playing, which of course kind of hampers my ability to play really effectively. But I've played this enough, and I've gotten good at it that even when I'm talking, I can do some of the easier speedrunning objectives. This game I find really fun to speedrun and kind of play more as an action game. I kind of compare it to Tetris. You know, Tetris is a game that when you get pretty good at it, what you end up doing is you just play as fast as you can, and when you get into a situation where you need to slow things down and take things a little more slowly, you can usually do that. And then when you are, trying to play faster, when you're in a situation that you understand better, you end up playing basically as fast as you can. And a lot of versions of Tetris will actually encourage that. Now, the Land of Eternal Motion is one of the most conducive to playing very quickly because you can read the situation very easily. You basically just want to go in the direction that has the least congestion. And you just want to very quickly go in as straight of a line as you can, and you're almost guaranteed to pick up treasures as you go. We do need one more treasure. I'm going to see if I can pick that up and make it back to this crossroads. There we go. So there's a place where going a little slower ended up helping out considerably. The Alchemy Lab is an area where it's very difficult to go quickly, just because there's so many walls. And when you're trying to go fast, you bang into a lot of walls, which is usually not a problem, but you saw with that Orb of Flash it did become a problem. And so, I'm not playing very smartly, I'm not playing very, cleanly, but I'm playing, I love trying to play fast and just, seeing what I can do. Now we've run into a dead end here, so we're just going to have to use that Orb of Flash. And now we can go back, see if we can get to any of these treasures. When you're speedrunning through the Alchemy Lab, kind of the most effective thing to do is just to go down hallways and take the treasures that you find. Let's see, is the Orb of Flash going to destroy that? Indeed, the Orb of Flash does destroy treasures in this land. And we're only going to get 10 here. Orb of Speed is very useful. But I don't think it's really worth getting those 25 treasures, and this is an area where it seems like it would be extremely difficult to do that, and I got an 11th treasure by mistake, but we are out of there, and we're doing, I think, very solidly. We already have a bunch of stuff unlocked, and so now we're getting to the point where it's time to start talking about what we're going to do. And I think the things that are kind of most at the front of my mind are to take on some of the new lands and see if we can get them in a run. And so that means going for some rubies, and it means going for some, let's see, we need ivory figurines, which we should have unlocked at this point. And then for the dungeon, we need HyperRogues. And so those are the things that we're going to be looking for. I am going to kind of slow down because we're getting to the point where, you know, I have made it a little bit far into this run. Not super far, but to the point where I'm now, you know, thinking I don't want to lose this run. And so I'm going to start playing more slowly, more carefully, still try to push myself because I do like kind of pushing my abilities, and the jungle is an area that I find very interesting to try and play fast. And so I'll be still trying to play, you know, not super slowly, not super carefully, but just kind of trying to make my way through. And I think we want to find an exit before we gather our last treasure, though we have some that are so easily presented here, and we actually have found our way to an exit here. So we can just hack our way through that one. And we are back in the crossroads, so we're on the lookout for an ivory tower at this point. We will also take a palace if one presents itself, and indeed one... Whoops! Bashed into a wall there. Indeed one has, so we're going to grab ourselves the HyperRogues. One thing that is crossing my mind is maybe doing a princess speedrun. Now, that is, on the face of it, a very bad idea because I can't actually do the princess quest. I can't do it consistently. And consistency is usually expected before speedrunning. However, I'm not always, that's not always how I do things. That door's about to close, so we can just leave him in there. That's our 10th HyperRogue, so now we are just looking for a way out of here. There is a crossroads right there. I will often try to speedrun games that I'm not completely consistent at, as long as I feel like I can run them in a reasonable amount of time. So here we are at a reptiles. So let us grab an orb of speed and head in here. I have developed a few more strategies for how to deal with this area. It's still going to be a slow and kind of difficult area to deal with. But I now know to look for the blinking, and I now know to walk over reptiles if I don't want them to stand up. And I also, I know a little bit better how to kite them across gaps, which I'm going to do right here, and then we can deal with this troll. And I love the troll corpse, the 3D effect on that. So let's see, we would like to get another reptile out here so we can pick up this dodecahedron. I don't see any readily presenting themselves, but I do see an orb of flash here, which could be either very useful or not so useful. Let's see, we can walk on that guy to put him to sleep. The orb of flash destroys reptiles, which is a little bit difficult. It can save your hide, but it's not going to help you get treasures. But this guy, I think we can get around to a side of him that is going to be useful. No, that's not as useful as I would like. I'm going to step on that guy so he goes to sleep. I'm going to just knock this guy into the chasm. Now, that guy was in the right place, but we've got a couple more of these guys coming up on us. A few too many of these guys for me to... Oh, that was a mistake. I was intending to actually hit one of those two guys, and I just stepped slightly wrong. So we're going to get rid of one of those guys, get rid of the other one. And now it looks like we actually just have one to worry about. So we should be able to knock this one in the direction that we want to send him. And that's not where I want him. There we go, that'll do it. So there's our first dodecahedron of the day. And we'll just kite these guys. Let's see if we can kite this guy over here. There we go, so that's gotten us a little bit closer to the dodecahedron that we want. And now I think we just need to wait for one to wake up. And it doesn't look like there's any near here that look ready to wake up. So let's try and uncover some more tiles. See if we can find any that are waking up. There's one right over there. It might not make it over to us. So we can make our way over to it and see, is there... Okay, we can knock it. We can't really get to the side of it that we would want to get to. This one, maybe? Yeah, this one we can kind of push in the direction we want. But that's not quite enough to reach that one. So we can stand over here, kind of hope something will come up. Here comes one. Let's see if we push him. If we get over here, but we have another one. 2 more coming up. So I want to deal with you. Deal with you. And now we can kind of shuffle you around. And I do want to do a scan for any others that are going to give us trouble. I don't see any right now. There we go. So there is our second dodecahedron. So this is a long and slow area. This is not the sort of area where we're going to get easy gains. And so, we're going to have to play this slowly. We're going to have to play it carefully. Especially, really paying attention to where we're clicking. Or mouse wheeling, as the case may be. Just being really careful about where we're knocking these guys. And, making sure that we're aware of where these guys are. Let's see, so we can kite that guy out there, not quite gonna reach, but I did see another one coming around this... Ah, no, he fell asleep. Okay. So yeah, it is difficult to, get the setups that we need. I have a thought that we can discover some tiles over here. See if there's any that are awakening soon. Though I don't see any. Because I was thinking we could kite one across, but the only one waking up is way over here. And that's not going to help us out at all. And of course, discovering tiles is kind of the most effective way of spawning monsters. So this guy's waking up really soon. Oh, this guy's waking up soon. We don't actually want that. We can knock this guy, maybe in the direction we want. Having a harder time doing that than I thought I would. That guy's gonna fall in. We'll just knock that guy in. Knock that guy in. Not quite making that bridge that we need. Not quite doing it. So, I'm wondering if this is going to be like a multi-part thing where we're going to have to, there is an orb of safety over there. It might be worth dropping into just because getting these treasures is so slow. And I do want to keep these episodes a little bit short. I kind of alluded to this in my Race the Sun series, but the kind of the reviewing and editing and uploading part of this video production is a side of it that I always want to make really easy, because the recording is the easiest thing in the world. Just, getting up here and talking is the easiest thing I know how to do. I love it so much, and it just flows so naturally. It's work. It's absolutely work. It's tiring. It takes effort, but it's so much like always what I want to be doing. But the editing and uploading is so different. It's such a time sink, and it's so much the opposite. It's, I still love it because it's a part of what I'm doing here, and in that sense, it is really forwarding, what I want in my life. And so, being a part of it, I don't dislike it, but it's my least favorite part of the process. It's the most time-consuming, and it's the most stressful, because it's so time-consuming and because it's not something that is really natural. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and in the next episode we will continue to try and get ourselves some dodecahedrons. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.